And that's why I've always believed, who we are, where we come from, what is our purpose, and what do we hold for the future. These are four things that I really believe that we strayed away from. And I think a lot of the causes come from a lot of distractions. And it takes us away from that place. Now for me, thinking back again, 35 years, how I started. 3 Stanley chisels and a cut-off baseball bat as a mallet. That's all I started with. Because there were no carving stores or schools or places that facilitated these kinds of things to work, tools to work with, So for me, it was just, I guess, would be a chance in taking, because I didn't know who I was. I was just another Hawaiian, come home from the mainland, went to schools there, jobs, but I really didn't know who I was. But Jensen, that's not a Hawaiian name. So, okay, for flipping, you not only question your identity as who you are, but then now you start to question where you come from. Where the hell did we come from? We just didn't pop out of the ground, right? Whole new one. We just, birth from the earth? I can see it in terms of metaphor. And that's what art is about, metaphor. Recreating thoughts and ideas through metaphor. Creating some dogma between the visual appetites of Kanaka, humankind. I didn't know this at the time. All I knew was this Hawaiian had an opportunity to discover many things. 35 years ago. We spent years looking at genealogies. We spent years doing research on that. Then we finally make connections, and we finally find people who know where we come from. Okay, 1 down. 2 down, who we are, where we come from. Well, mine was still a question mark as to who I was personally. But now we know where we come from. These group of people. Okay, what did they bring? What was their purpose? See, now this is a new era, right? 21st century. What is my purpose here? That's what I told my wife. That's what I told Lucia. That's what I tell Natalie. That's what I tell Luciana. What is our purpose here? See, I didn't want to take the idea that, the great Leonardo da Vinci would say that most people were put on this planet to eat and excrete. That's really a waste. So I didn't want to be that, taking it from a great artist. So that brings me back to the 3 chisels and a mallet. And I worked my way with branches, with twigs, with driftwood, and trying to understand the use of the tools, the material things, working on a material thing that was given to us by nature's forces, those kinds of things. To me, it was like working with nature. Even though the tree was broken or damaged or fallen there or burned, to me, it still had life. And this was the way of, in my mind, was to restore some of that. And that life is not the living and breathing life, but it's the spiritual life. And people use that word very loosely sometimes. Spirit. What is the spirit? And that's what it takes to live life, that spirit. And sometimes it's hard for me, even for me. I don't say I know it all. I don't say I have the answers to it. I'm still discovering things in my life. And that's, the more I discover, the more freedom I've been given. It releases those boundaries that prevented us from getting to the next dimension, the next level. So these distractions just faded away. And then I realized that I had a lot of space to cover. So I've always had this great fondness for drawing. And I think it woke me up in 73 when Lucia and I did a project called Men of Ancient Hawaii with the help of many people in our lives at that time. And those 20 drawings, those 20 occupations of those people, those ancestors, that developed a way of survival on islands with the minimalist of things. They didn't have precious stones, they didn't have precious metals, they didn't have anything precious except the island that they walked very lightly upon. We have not learned that. And it's something we have to learn, or we're going to die. And we're going to really suffer the frustration because it's something we didn't teach ourselves to want to learn, to want to know.